and we have always welcomed them for years. Right now, we just want to make sure that they have all our support and that we're with them, and when something like this happens, we all get affected. Let me say also this. I know that the series of events that we're going to talk about is very hard. At no time can we say, that this information that we're going to relay is information that we have at this time. A lot of things is early in the investigation. You all got to remember that he was just arrested on Saturday. There's a lot of loose ends that we got to go after, and that's why we're working very hard. My job here, I'm not going to discuss anything to do with evidentiary. I'm sure the district attorney's office, the professionals when it comes to all those things, I'm sure they'll handle that. But I'm going to discuss a series of events. But to start with, before we go any further, I'd like to start with condolences to the family. Melissa Ramirez, 29, that was deceased. Claudine Ann Loera, 42 years of age, was deceased. Humberto Ortiz, 28, was deceased. And also officially unidentified victim also. And we offer, in regards to all of us here present, our deepest condolences to the families and friends of all these victims of what happened here in this episode. More than anything, we want to go talk a little bit about the times and more or less the dates of where the victims were found. Victim number 1, Melissa Ramirez, 29, September the 3rd, was found close to Jeffries Road on Texas Highway 55. In itself, victim number 2 was found on Texas Highway 255, approximately 2 miles from victim number 1. Victim number 3 was found on September 14th through the 15th. We're not exactly clear exactly what date this happened, but it was a mile marker 15 on Interstate 35. Victim number 4, we believe was the last victim, unidentified for this purpose right now because of the next of kin. We want to make sure that they get notified. On Wet Road Interchange Underpass, marker 21, Interstate 35. Go to the next. We want to make sure that we all understand the series of events, how this went down. And I want to discuss a little bit with you guys, and I'm certain that we all have a lot of questions on how it all started and how it all culminated. On Friday, September the 14th of 2018, at approximately 9:14 p.m., Ortiz was stopped at the Valero gas station located at 619 Cross Street, Laredo, Texas, where an identified witness escaped. We're not at liberty to give her name. She is a witness. And what we understand here is that the witness had struggled with him. She was trying to get out. She later found that this person here had a weapon and she was not feeling just right to be with him. She tried to get away once and then tried to get away twice. And what I understand, on the second attempt, she was able to jump out through the door, run towards the lights, where a DPS trooper was gassing up at the time, and he was able to interdict and intercept with her to find out what went wrong. So right there from the gas station in itself was very, very important, crucial point of this investigation of where it all started breaking down. Right after that, September the 14th, at about approximately 9:30 p.m., Ortiz drove home, thinking that he was identified and that we knew who he was, which we were working very hard with the Texas Rangers and all the agencies involved to identify the vehicle and so forth. We were able to pin him down of where he lives. We had an idea that he might have gone home. We weren't too certain where he had gone, but when he was at home, he was already ready to make sure that we were going to show up and arrest him. Well, at that time, of course, he had numerous weapons. He was loading up all his weapons. thinking that DPS was going to confront him and he was looking at a confrontation. And God, that didn't happen. Right about on September the 15th, at approximately 1 a.m., Ortiz was encountered by a DPS trooper at the Valero gas station located at 2701 San Bernardo Avenue here in Laredo. And during that time, when this was happening, when the DPS troopers confronted him, he had actually left the weapon inside his pickup and went inside the gas station for a restroom relief. To his surprise, he wasn't certain yet where exactly law enforcement was, but troopers had information from all the agencies that we were on the lookout for him. Right there at that point, when he comes out, the officers, both troopers confronted him. One of them attempted to tase him, and he ran. He ran all the way to the Hotel Ava, which used to be the old Ramada Inn. At the Hotel Ava, on September the 15th, 28, at approximately 2:34 a.m., Juan David Ortiz, 35, was apprehended by the Webb County Sheriff's Office SWAT team and assisted by the DPS troopers. What we understand is that he was hiding in the third flat of the parking lot under a pickup truck, or close to a pickup truck, and what he was going to do, he was trying to commit suicide by cop. He was going to try to use his phone to make it look like it was a weapon. It didn't happen. He was apprehended without incident and taken to the Webb County Sheriff's Office substation. Juan David Ortiz, 35. Of course, if anything, I believe Ortiz targeted all victims due to their profession and being vulnerable. In addition, all the victims were defenseless, and at one point, Ortiz was able to gain their trust and then viciously shot them. In an overall nutshell here, the perpetrator made a mistake, and law enforcement capitalized on it. And that's how we were able to capture him.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome District Attorney Isidro Alanis for some remarks.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First of all, my condolences to the families and friends of the victims of these horrific crimes. As Webb County District Attorney, I want to congratulate the efforts of the combined law enforcement agencies that were involved in this investigation. Thank you to Sheriff Martin Cuellar and his team of deputies and investigators. Thank you to the Texas Rangers and DPS for the job that they did. The perpetrator in this case, just like in any case, is the one that decides when, where, how, and who he will be committing the crime against. The question that's out there is, why did he do this? And that's part of our mission, to find out why he did this. It's difficult to get into the mind of a killer. But what we have right now, and what we do know, is that Ortiz carried out these murders in a cold and callous way. There was a common scheme. Like Chief Garza stated, there was a certain community or group of people that he was seeking out. Unfortunately, this is a community of people that are vulnerable, whether it be because of alcohol, substance abuse, drug addiction, or prostitution. Ortiz is the one that decided who he was going to target. The story will come out. This case is currently being investigated. It's a complex case. The evidence that we have right now is that he committed these murders in a similar fashion, taking these individuals out to desolate areas near or right outside the city limits and executing them with a handgun. Thanks to the victim who escaped, law enforcement got a break, moved quickly with the information and intel that they had. Thank you to the good work by DPS in apprehending him. He was taken to the station where he was read his Miranda warnings. And after a thorough interview and interrogation is when he decided to voluntarily confess to these murders, to the unlawful restraint and the aggravated assault of that victim that escaped. He is currently charged with 4 counts of murder, a count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and unlawful restraint. As the case develops over the next 30, 60 to 90 days, the District Attorney's Office, working with the Texas Rangers, Sheriff's Department, DPS, will be putting together the case to decide if this case will escalate into a capital murder or will stay at murder. Very important to mention, the initial arrest in this case was made because of evading detention. It was the work of the DPS troopers, based on a bolo, be on the lookout, when they first spotted Ortiz's truck at the gas station. He was approached for detention purposes to question him on this crime that had been reported. And that's when he evaded on foot and was found an hour later at the hotel, hiding in the back of a pickup truck, and was arrested without incident. That's what got this case started. This is where we're at now, and we're going to work very carefully and diligently with all law enforcement to put the indictment together and to bring the full force of the law against Ortiz in holding him accountable for these horrific crimes. Let me say, and I join the sheriff's office in saying that this is a rogue individual. Border Patrol has a force nationwide of more than 20,000, close to 6,000 in this region of South Texas. The actions of Ortiz do not reflect the work done by the men and women of Border Patrol. I know I speak for law enforcement when I say that we continue to have a strong working relationship. We applaud the work done by Border Patrol in securing our borders. We have 100% confidence in the work that they do. Ortiz acted alone. The questions as to why, eventually, hopefully, we'll find out. Thank you.
At this time, please help me welcome U.S. Border Patrol Chief, Ms. Carla Provost.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by saying first thank you to Chief Garza for allowing me to be here today. I felt it important that I come here from Washington, D.C. First and foremost, I want to reiterate our condolences on behalf of the Commissioner of Customs and Border Protection, myself, and the men and women of CBP. I want to offer my condolences to the family and friends of the victims. As it has been stated numerous times, these are horrific crimes, and this was one rogue individual, and I appreciate the support that we have received from both the sheriffs and the district attorney. My men and women on a day in and day out work diligently with our law enforcement partners to help protect not only the communities that they live in, but also the country as a whole. And I would hate for this to tarnish the great work that those men and women do. I will tell you that Mr. Ortiz has been placed on indefinite suspension, unpaid suspension at this point, and we have been and we will continue to cooperate with all of the investigative parties throughout the investigation, and they will have our continued support. I thank you again for the opportunity to come here. I am here to support my men and women. Obviously, it has had an extreme impact on them. I cannot imagine the impact that this has had on this community. And once again, I am sickened and saddened by the events that have occurred and offer my deepest condolences to the families and the friends of the victims. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude and we go into questions and answers, please help me welcome Chief Federico Garza for some closing remarks.
Two things. The sheriff is working very hard in trying to get help for the victims involved, in this series of events that we had. When I'm saying about the victims, I'm talking about the family members, and I'm sure Mr. District Attorney's Office will be involved with that too, and that we will be collectively working very hard with giving them some help. The same token, we want to make sure and assure the community out there that the killings will stop. We're certain that we have the right individual, and we want to make rest assured the community that we serve that we can go on with our business. We're hopeful that at the end justice will be served without a doubt, and we're asking the public to continue to support law enforcement in the times that we live today, and hopefully at the end we all can work together like we did in this case. A good example of that, we will serve this kind of crimes. And we thank you all very much for being here, and we'll raise some questions now.
Can we get some brief remarks in Spanish, please?
Can you turn off the podium?
Can we get some brief remarks in Spanish, if you would, please?
We'll try our best. Claramente, para decir unas cuantas cosas, trabajando todos juntos, aquí como policías, agencias del alguacil, agencias del District Attorney's Office, Department of Public Safety, Departamento de Seguridad Pública, Texas Rangers y los State Troopers, Laredo Police Department, Border Patrol. Todos tuvimos un buen enganche trabajando juntos de poder traer lo que trajimos en este caso y traer la persona que cometió las 4 muertes, en los días de septiembre 3 y culminó al día de septiembre 15, casi 2 semanas. Muy bien los agentes del Departamento de Seguridad Pública, igualmente como los agentes de CID del departamento de nosotros de aquí del Sheriff, trabajaron muchas horas juntos. Teníamos muchos leads que estábamos persiguiendo y claramente cada uno de esos leads se debe de investigar totalmente. Y tuvimos una buena oportunidad que quebró el caso. Hubo una oportunidad de que el perpetrator cometió varios errores, pues fue un error grande cuando tuvimos a una joven que se pudo salir y se escapó de las manos de esta persona que a algún punto nosotros pensamos que también posiblemente la iba a matar. Vemos la confianza de esta mujer joven, que ella fue, como nos dijo el fiscal, una de las personas que ayudó a quebrar este caso completamente como lo tenemos ahora en día. Claramente no queremos discutir nosotros los detalles de las cosas de evidencia, ¿verdad? Es muy importante que el fiscal tenga toda la evidencia que él pueda agarrar para traer justicia en este caso, pero también al mismo tiempo queremos nosotros ofrecerles a la familia nuestras condolencias, ¿verdad? Claramente es algo duro para toda la comunidad. Estas personas también eran miembros de nuestra comunidad y tienen familias y ser queridos también que los amaban. Vemos que todos trabajando y haciendo lo que hacemos puede trabajar de una manera de buen ejemplo de tener una buena resolvencia de este caso. También queremos asegurarle al público que estamos muy seguros que esta persona era la única persona que estaba cometiendo estas matanzas de personas, y sabemos que tenemos a la persona que debe estar en la cárcel ahorita, y le queremos asegurar al público que podemos seguir nosotros con nuestros negocios y seguir yendo a las vistas, todo lo que hacemos aquí nosotros aquí en Laredo. El fiscal lo asumió cuando estábamos nosotros allá afuera el día del sábado, que Laredo sigue creciendo, ya no es el mismo Laredo donde crecimos la mayoría de nosotros, y con esas consecuencias viene el crimen como este. Pero gracias a Dios a las autoridades que lo pudimos resolver.
Permíteme.
Usted mencionó en inglés la parte donde él se estaba preparando con armas. ¿Podría hablar un poco más en español sobre eso?
Mire, lo que tenemos ahorita es que cuando la información que tenemos y como hablamos temprano, esta información es información que estamos recibiendo como hablamos. Eso no quiere decir que la información no va a cambiar más adelante. Para la información que tenemos es que él estaba esperando que nuestras agencias policíacas llegaran a su casa y se quería confrontar en una balacera con ellos.
¿Tenía armas?
Tenía armas.
I have a question. This is for DPS and also for sheriffs. Reading the affidavits, we get the sense that the second victim, Luera, was aware that Ortiz had been the last one taken, the last one seen going with Ramirez, the first victim. It sounded like there was some sort of knowledge within that community that Ortiz was a suspect. Had this been communicated to police or to authorities? Were there any inroads with this community established, or were they disconnected from authorities?
Well, let me refer it to you this way. He took advantage of the vulnerability of this community. So in this instance, he had the trust of most of the victims that were involved in this killing. So he took that opportunity to commit this crime. He knew that the victims were harmless. They really didn't have a defense against him. So he found the crime of opportunity to take advantage of these victims. And at this point, that's all we know at this time. I'm sure later, as the investigation goes on, we will develop more or less a profile of this person, of what he was up to and what he was doing. It'll be historical, and we'll follow that up.
Gentleman in the back. Gentleman in the back.
Sir, can you tell us are you confident that you're not going to find any more victims?
Well, we're not confident of that, sir. We know that it's still an ongoing investigation, and we will do a historical research everywhere that he has been to see if we have a pattern of victims such as this, and we'll continue the investigation there.
Ma'am?
Yes,
Wait, ma'am?
thank you. I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a quick question for Chief Provost, please, if you would, please. Thank you so much. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
I think at best what could be described as a series of very tragic coincidences for the Laredo sector. The Guatemalan woman who was shot to death by an agent who found her hiding in the bushes in Rio Bravo. The double murder of another agent, a mother and child, and now this horrible situation. Tell me, what can you as the national chief learn, or perhaps is there a lesson to be learned here? Is there something more that could be done for the Laredo sector? Advice, counsel, training? What can you say?
Certainly. First and foremost, I do want to reiterate, in South Texas, I've got a workforce of approximately 6,000, and I do not want a couple of rogue individuals being characterized of what my men and how my men and women work and who they are, because they are consummate professionals. They work diligently day in and day out. That being said, I am down here to support my workforce, communicating with them. We have a peer support and a chaplaincy program, as well as a veteran support program. I'm meeting with all of those individuals, the leadership team here, and these are some of the things that we are working on to see how we can better support our men and women in the area. Okay.
Gentleman in the front. You, sir. Wait, you, sir.
This
Go
is
ahead.
kind of an awkward question, but was Mr. Ortiz doing this to kill people? Was he doing this to kill people in a sexual encounter, or neither or both? I mean, what was it all about, you know?
Well, I know that he mentioned the dislike for the community where there's victims represented. He found himself in a situation that whatever anger he had inside of him, we don't know yet. His complete motive for that is where we're reasoning at this time and going in this direction because of the dislike that he had for this community of people.
Here in the front.
Yes, also for Chief Provost, and if you can speak on behalf of your agency there, has the lowering of standards, hiring standards for this law enforcement agency at a federal level have anything to do, does it come into play with maybe some of the attitudes, or not attitudes, but I guess what we've seen lately, especially out of the Laredo sector?
Well, first and foremost, I would tell you there has been no lowering of standards. We continue to evolve and we continue to change in our training aspects, our hiring processes. We do extensive backgrounds upon hiring. We do 5-year reinvestigations. We now have added the polygraph. Our training is one of the best in the nation, a 117-day academy out in Artesia. So I would say that there has not been a degradation when it comes to hiring. We have very, very stringent standards on hiring. I need to continue to hire more individuals. I am down approximately 2,000 agents from the height of our workforce, and with the job that we have to do, we have hiring is extremely important. That being said, it is of utmost importance to all of us that we hire the right individuals, and thus that work, we have the Office of Professional Responsibility who does investigations on any internal incidents within our workforce. CBP has worked very diligently to be as transparent as we can over the last few years. We have updated our use of force policy. I myself was part of that, and I worked for a year in the Office of Professional Responsibility as the second in command there. So this is something that we take very, very seriously. But that being said, I once again would say the actions of a couple of individuals versus the size of my workforce of 20,000, I know the great things my men and women do. I know the great training that they receive, and this is just not indicative of my workforce.
How often
Gentlemen in the
is that
back,
followed up?
gentlemen in the back, please. Adelante.
Con la experiencia que tienen con agentes de la ley,
No lo puedo oír, dígalo otra vez.
con la experiencia que tienen, ¿cómo van a tratar de prevenir estos hechos? Y si habrá un proyecto, algún examen psicológico, con todo respeto por los demás agentes.
¿A quién va dirigida?
Al que-
Chief.
Y también al fiscal, ¿cómo va a actuar en este caso?
Bueno, claramente nosotros no podemos ver una bola de pensamiento de cómo van a pasar cosas o a qué tiempo van a suceder. Si pudiéramos tener una fórmula así, pues claramente saliéramos todos adelante, ¿verdad? Pero como le vamos a hacer, le pedimos al público que nos siga ayudando con cualquier cosa que se mire. Si miran un crimen que pasa, repórtenlo. Si miran algo sospechoso, repórtenlo. Así las agencias policíacas podemos nosotros responder y tratar de prevenir algo para que no pase.
Gentlemen, permítame un momentito. Here, over here, over here.
Two quick questions, one for Chief Provost and one for you, Mr. Garza. Was there any, before the first two murders, before what happened on Friday night, were you guys aware that those first two murders were connected? Were you already working under that suspicion?
Yes, we were. We were looking at evidence, reviewing evidence. We had some casings. We were connecting the dots.